What's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. This is also the show for the underdogs, the misfits, the people that are, as Chris Lockhead would say, were born on the island of misfit toys. I love that phrase. So if we are bringing the best of what would you say, real estate coaching, training, education, and all things how to be successful to the everyman, the every agent. I think that's a great way to put it, Greg. Yeah,
I agree with you on that one. I really do.
I think we should emphasize that more often. We need to tell people exactly what the purpose of the podcast is, and that is pretty much it right there. So the junior grandmaster himself, bringing down the wisdom from on high, not from him, of course, but from other people that are way smarter than us. Just to clarify, the junior grandmaster himself is in the co-pilot seat as always, and he is joining me. Greg, what is up today?
What's up, Matt? Hey, man, I know that you're in Vegas, you're on the road, but we are, as always, going to make it rain up in this mother blanking place because we have got knowledge pouring from our ears because, as Matt said, not from us, because we are the two misfits, and we learn and sit at the feet of incredibly intelligent individuals, and we had an opportunity, Matt. I had so much fun. We launched our first ever class this morning for Rockstar Prospecting. We had 10 people. Amazing things were happening in there, and it was really amazing to really kind of, when we're breaking down their people's whys and why they do this, why they don't, what their goals are, so on and so forth, and to the fact of the matter that a large portion of people, they have a goal, they have a why, but it's so 10,000 foot that their subconscious brain can't define it, which means they can't go towards it because it's still so blurry. It's like trying to be in that 10,000 feet and trying to pick out, the exact house that you live in. Shit ain't gonna happen. Okay, but if you get down lower into it and you start getting views and understanding, what your true goal and what you want to have, the clearer it becomes. And that is one of the things that I think that I really took away a lot from this. And it was a really, really, really good session. And you guys, if you guys don't know idea what I'm talking about, go over to, we'll put the link in here for the real estate, prospecting like a rock star class. And we are going to start booking for our next session in March. I cannot believe I just said March, Matt. Cannot believe I said March. It's going by way too fast.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're just in the very beginning of February. It's not, what is it? What are we coming up on? Valentine's Day tomorrow or something? Some ungodly thing like that. So we're halfway through February.
Yeah, tomorrow is Vampire and a Whiskey Day. And why? Because women suck the life out of you, and you just want to drink it away with the whiskey. That's what I do. No,
I thought it was Vampire and Whiskey because you're going to watch. Weren't you just going to watch Twilight or something?
Yeah, Eileen just yells out, and you wonder why you're single. Oh, dude. Okay, so speaking of something funny, all right. So Josh Bryan, what up, player? I know you're watching right now. Great to have you and his girl came out to San Fran. I think they're still here, actually. I got to go over to go over and hang out with them for lunch. Dude, we traversed that fucking city so many times, but they got the full San Francisco experience, okay? And this is the funny part. So we go to Union Street, and then I'm like, well, you guys want to go to this brewery on the coast? They said, you said beer and water. Yes, let's go. So we drive all the way across the city. I thankfully didn't get myself too lost. Get to the other side right when there was an anti-Trump protest taking midstream. And so we got to be caught up in all of the antitrust, Trump haters, and which they took all the parking spots for the brewery, those sons of bitches. So then we finally found a spot. We walk over. It's an hour wait. So we're fuck. All right. So we walk back to the car. We drive back into the city where we're going to get some food. On our way down to the ferry building, dude, I'm not kidding you. We're going through the Tenderloin, which is not a good area, okay? There's all kinds of shit that happens down there you just don't want to be a part of. We look over when we're in traffic, and there's a black hooker smoking crack on the side of the street. Just right there, mid-street. Josh and I were like, there's a hooker smoking crack. Oh, shit, there really is a hooker smoking crack. We get down. We couldn't find parking. I go down a one-way street in San Francisco into oncoming traffic. I get down into a parking garage, which I swear to God was created to ding cars. I think they built this just for auto body shops. And it was an absolute maze underground in there. Finally, I just said, fuck it. I just parallel parked sideways into a spot and a half over there. I just told the parking guys, like, I'm just parking here. I'm good. And the three of us went and we took a shot. We sat down and had lunch, but it was awesome. To have Josh, we had a lot of fun. We did a private private Facebook live to one of our listeners. She wasn't feeling well, so we picked her up a little bit there. So it's been an eventful, good weekend, man.
Yeah.
But
All right.
we got some good stuff coming for today. We got a lot of good questions today. I know that we got some good stuff.
Yeah, we do have a lot of stuff to get to. There's a great comment here that I wanted to bring up and get a couple of things on. Let's talk about door knocking first, and then we can get into some of the other stuff. So TJ Perry, who has watched us live before and commented and stuff. So TJ, what's up? This he posted in lead gen scripture injection. He says, went door knocking for the first time today. This is posted yesterday or Saturday. He says, a dog attacked me. Someone shot at me. I was abducted and locked in a basement for hours, and I limped home in tattered rags, bleeding from about 20 different places. Just kidding. I got a really nice teller lead. And lesson learned, he goes on to say kind of what his success was, and a little bit, he said, I also had a number of people take entire stacks of business cards because they said friends of theirs are looking for a realtor to buy a home in the area. So lesson learned, be a bit more forward with trying to get others information like emails, numbers, and names. And I didn't because I was nervous in the beginning, but after I picked up a lead, I was more confident, but it was too late in the day at that point. So Greg, you want to go over real quick how to smoothly and easily ask for someone's contact information when you're on the doors so that he feels, it's not necessarily an issue of confidence. It's an issue of just knowing that you're not being a bother to somebody and knowing that you're going to ask in a way that they're not going to rip your head off about.
Sure.
So what's the best way to do that?
Just be like, so Matt, what's your best email just in case?
It's Matt at AOL.com because I'm 87 years old.
I'm like, you still have AOL?
It's Netscape. Earthlink.
Oh, God.
It's Matt at Earthlink.com.
I just hear the dial-up.
Yeah.
But okay, that's the script, guys. You say, hi, so Mr. Homer, what's your best email just in case, or best contact information just in case?
Right.
And the just in case, you don't go past that. That is your script, and the reason why you let their brain run off the fear of like, oh my God, just in case of what? Holy shit! Okay, you gotta have it. When in reality, and if you act expectantly like you've already gotten it the last 10 houses in a row, why wouldn't you accept? You expect Matt, Julian, his 3-base little wood, beast, little wood denting babies to give you their information. I mean, granted, his kids are going to have really big, email accounts because they're such large little creatures. But besides that, I mean, you should be good. Matt's not laughing because he's not paying attention to me, you son of a bitch.
I'm giving TJ a compliment on the comment that he put up there.
I am relentlessly, belittling your non-existent children, and I'm not getting no joy out of this right now.
Nope, and you shouldn't. I wanted to bring up that so TJ also had a great point, which is know your shit. He said, I had people asking me what was going on in their neighborhood in about a dozen different ways. Luckily, my wife is an analyst, and we found ways to use data from the MLS to create graphs to show some different things. Not one single person asked if I was new. Having this information blew people away. The knowledge spoke for itself. That is huge.
Yes.
And any type of when you so it's I want to make 2 points about that. Number one is he did an amazing job of just knowing his market before he went out into it and started door knocking, which is key. But the second thing is you can have that effect on people that he had talking to them one-on-one when they would ask him questions and he could respond intelligently. That sense of like nobody ever asking you if you're new and absolutely blowing people away with your knowledge. You can have that same effect by proactively going out there and doing videos and content on your social media with that same information. He also said he looked at the layouts because it was a fairly new home community. It's about 7 years old. He knew the warranty they carried. He knew they were Energy Star certified. He said, I knew everything. I was probably over prepared, but they had questions and I had answers. So maybe not. Maybe I didn't over prepare. So as long as you're not using it as an excuse to not get out there and take action, the more preparation, the better, because it'll make you feel more confident that when they throw a question your way, you're not going to freak out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really an important thing. If you guys don't have a wife that's an analyst, I just put a link into the chat here, guys, for HomeSnap, and there is a guide in there that I want you to pay attention to. So you go into HomeSnap, you enter in a zip code, then you go over to the top left, and there's going to be homes for sale, recent sales, news feed, and then market guide. Click on market guide. You guys, what I do is I just screenshot, this little bit of information here, the overall health care, what's going on in the market, average homes, absorption rate, 2-paragraph little snippet, and then some stats on the overall zip code. That is enough to have a conversation with someone and not blow their mind with information, but still be incredibly intelligent. It is literally screenshot, paste, print on back of flyer, outdoor. You don't have to overthink it. Read it, understand it a little bit. But that's your quick and dirty way that you can get the data and get out the doors ASAP. Because you know what? The hardest door is going to be your car door, guys. Do not sit there and say, "Whoa, all these things I can't get out the door." That's bullshit. You're just giving me an excuse. Don't come back and say you can't do it. Midori right here. Midori, give everyone a what's up. That's Midori. She came in and crushed out. How you been getting your butt kicked for 2 weeks? I mean, on the phone, 3 weeks, just 0 leads. Okay. And she was like, "What the hell?" All of us have been thinking, "What the hell?" But then she got a good lead today because she stayed with it. That's incredibly important. I have Scott Wagner here. He's like, "Dude, I've been getting my ass kicked on the phones for at least 3 weeks, or a little over an hour a day, and not one good blanking seller lead. What to do?" Well, homeboy, stick with it. That's what you ultimately have to do, is persistence and consistency. Josh and I were talking about this when we were driving around on Saturday, epically lost in the sea of ticked off liberals, waving their pink hats, and we were talking about the fact that, he's like, "I just got into this business and it's super easy to make money in real estate. But the thing that people don't do is being consistent. Consistency is the key to your income." If you can grasp your brain around that one fact, the consistency is the key to your financial future and freedom, then there you go. That's your one thing. If you want to work on one thing, like Gary Keller's book talks about, work on consistency. That would be the only thing you have to do.
Yeah, there's a great quote. Somebody put it up. They must have heard it. I think Diana Kokoska from Maps was speaking this morning or last night or something. But it was a great quote. She basically said, "Consistency builds up over time. It compounds over time. Mm-hmm. So does inconsistency." Yeah. And that really hit me. I'm like, wow. And not so much in business necessarily, because I heard somebody say this the other day. It was Robert Ringer, the guy that wrote Winning Through Intimidation. Mm-hmm. He said, I am the tortoise in the business story that is my life. He's like, I am not the guy that necessarily gets out to the fastest start, but I methodically, relentlessly will wear you down, and I will succeed. So I feel like that's the way that I am in business. But so the way that it hit me home was more on the personal fitness side, because I usually put that secondary to business. So I feel like I have the consistency down when it comes to business and not so much down when it comes to personal fitness. And I can see it and I can tell that my inconsistency is compounding over time, and I need to fix that immediately.
Yeah, that's one of those things. I mean, Hank Avix, what's up, Hank? Coach Hank is here hanging with us guys. He woke me up at fucking 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning. And he goes, "Hey, I got to order something to buy." I'm like, "Oh, Christ, how many pots of coffee have you drank?" He's like, "I don't know, 2. I'm like, "Good, I haven't had one sip." Ease back, pump the brakes, and ease the throttle. But we went live and did a podcast, and we talked about, doing that exact thing, being clear and not being forced into the mainstream of what everybody thinks you need to do. And I think what we were talking about is, being free, but being consistent with what you're doing, your lead gen, your follow up, even if it's not fun, because 90% of the time, guys, it is not fun. I just sat here and did, oh God, how many phone calls did I just make? I made 168 phone calls. Check this out: 54 minutes and 46 seconds of actual call time, only 10 minutes and 12 seconds of actual talking. Got my ass handed to me, but I did it because I'm consistent on it. Every single day we're going to be doing calls.
It's because you insist on calling people cold, as we've discussed before. But anyway, that's all right.
You shush.
I know.
That's the one thing that I really think is amazing. If you could take a look at your business, guys, and really tear it apart and see where you're getting your leads and where you can spend your time to make money, and then go double down on that. You don't need to go out there and build a team. You don't need to go out there and be the number one real estate agent. It all comes down to how much money you take home at the end of the year, not how many deals you do and look good in front of your peers. I mean, there's a couple of guys, there's a team here on the Rockcliffe that they do 60,000 flyers or mailers every month. Holy crap. That is a lot of mailers. Now, goodness, they're doing a lot of deals, but they're also doing it for lower percentage points. So how much money are they actually taking home at the end of the day? Because that's where the real winning takes place. Wouldn't you agree? I mean,
Yeah, I'd agree. Granted, if their lives are easier because they generate leads and those leads are warmer, the inbound leads than yours calling outbound cold, there may be a quality of life difference that's worth that difference in profit. So it's up to you. You know, it depends on what the profit is at the end of the day and how much pain and suffering you're willing to endure to get it.
yeah, 100%. Hank's sitting here. He loves us. We love you too, Hank. But it is all about the net, guys. At the end of the day, it's net. Because I know for sure that I would much rather have a larger net and I can pick up and go take a vacation for 30, 60, 90 days and not ever have to worry about, having the income because I already have the, what do you call it? Have the
right
cash in reserves. Neely Freeman.
Holy cow.
Blast from the past, girlfriend. What's up? I actually got an opportunity to talk to her the other day. It was really good catching up with her.
All right. Well, I've got a question here we can cover that leads us down a very good path. Aaron actually put this question up in the lead gen group this morning. Said if you could change one thing in your business to make it stronger, what would it be? And I'm really curious about what that is for you, Greg.
If I could change one thing in my business today, what would it be? I honestly don't know. I haven't thought about it. So what are some of the other people have given? Therefore, we can give it kind of an idea of where main people are trending to. So that's hyper local, and that's going to be super, super,
So one of the very first comments was where I would take it. Jason Ailman said, eliminate the non-profit producing activities like paperwork, updating social media, yada, yada. I can talk about what I'm doing in my business in a second. Arne says, hire an assistant to deal with time-sucking activities. Absolutely. Killer director of operations, hire an assistant. A lot of that. Bill Thompson says, get stronger focus, better time management, and thicker skin. That's actually the second time somebody has said thicker skin to go after, leads more consistently. Practice scripts, get better at lead gen, holding yourself accountable. So, yeah, so for me, there's a lot of people that have said some variation of getting the non-productive activities off of their plate in some way, either an assistant or a director of operations. So that's my next step is I'm going to follow the man, the master, the man, the myth, the legend, Frank at Viral has created the single most badass system that has ever been created for hiring marketing interns. So I'm going to hire one, potentially two of them in San Diego and get them started, split my existing podcast clients between them. And then I'm going to train them on how to run the operations for those clients. And that will free me up to then keep focusing on lead generation and keep scaling up the business and work on the stuff that you and I, Greg, have going on behind the scenes, the big announcements that we have coming up and the stuff that we're building for agents to help them be more successful. Because right now, all of my time has been sucked up in just managing clients and managing the operations because I don't have one person or two people that I can really rely on. So I end up doing and stepping into a lot of the stuff myself, which is pulling me out of doing stuff that's more dollar productive.
Yeah, no, I think I like the getting thicker skin. I think a lot of people, I don't have a problem with going out there and just making it happen, but I think that a lot of people just do because they're afraid of hearing the word no, or afraid of not getting the client or not achieving whatever they're trying to achieve, but they're never going to achieve anything if they never try or consistently try. It's like trying to do any kind of prospecting for 2 months and like, oh, shit didn't work. No, home skillet, you didn't work. Let's be really clear about that. And some of the stuff that, this is actually Matt and I, we got in a tiff about a week and a half ago on Friday. I was just fucking fed up with his ass, on some stuff. And we didn't talk all weekend.
We usually don't talk on weekends, just to clarify for the audience. We don't sit around and put our feet up on the wall and twirl the corded phone that's attached to the wall, in between our fingers and talk for hours on end.
I just had that mental image. Okay, so, but I came back because I was really pissed at Matt because I'm on a certain subject matter, and I came back and I ultimately on Monday when I reconnected, I'm like, dude, okay, I'm not mad. This is what the process is, but that being mad has spurred me, and I launched another idea onto Matt, and he's like, dude, I love this idea. This is what's going to be going on, and we're, instead of doing this one thing we're going to do, and hopefully it would work, we decided to switch around, and we're going to come out with a product, guys, and we're literally going to call it something like Getting Now Business, or active actions or activities to get now business. If you cannot do door knocking and you cannot do cold calling outbound, what would you do to get business today? And so we're compiling that, guys. It's going to be a really cool thing, and I think it's going to help people get out of their own way, because we're going to show them alternatives that are proven. Because I'm going to go do them. I'm going to be the guinea pig for this stuff. I'm going to get my ass out in the street and try these different tactics and see where they lead. See what happens. So we're very excited about it. That's one of the announcements, Matt, we're talking about. And we have a couple others that are up our sleeve. As always, we got something new happening. But
yeah, can I please share what you were upset with me about? Can I please?
Sure, fine.
All right. So Greg was pissed at me because I didn't want to take the time to go sign up for the Amazon affiliate program so that we could have a link so that people could click through our website before going to Amazon so that we could make a hefty, I'm guessing, a quarter or something like that for every book that you buy. Or it was some ridiculously. I mean, the only people that do that are the podcasters that have, just so that the audience is aware. The only people that do that are the podcasts with huge audiences. And I mean, we're talking about. I mean, obviously we have a large audience for real estate, but we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of downloads per month. Those are the people that have audiences big enough to where that adds up to a chunk of change. And so I yelled at Greg. No opportunities that are below six figures. If it's not a six-figure opportunity, no. And Greg's like, well, everything is something. I'm like, no. So he's like, well, I'm going to do it. So I think you checked it out or something like that. But it was one of those funny moments when you're like, so we have, and we've yelled at this at each other about this on the show, which is that you and I have two completely different approaches to goal setting and achievement and success. Your mentality is, if it can be done, we need to do it.
Yes.
My mentality is we need to pour that we have a limited available resource, time, and energy, and those have to be focused on the right things, not just everything. And every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else, or you're saying yes to doing it poorly because you're trying to say yes to too many things. So it was one of those funny little encapsulations of everything that is different about our approach to goal setting and success.
And of course, as always,
all in like one little microcosm.
Yes, just whoop, and I still think I'm fucking right. By the way, money's money.
You are not right.
Yes, I am.
All right, there's a good little objection here I want to cover real quick, and then we'll dive into some deeper stuff. Aaron Perlberg says, "Hey, the biggest objection I have trouble overcoming is when a homeowner says that they have remodeled or invested money into the house and they expect to get that out when they sell." Greg, how would you handle that?
God, I'm glad you asked me that, Matt. So I'm putting a link in here, guys. This is you couldn't have teed that up any more perfect for me if you tried. Yes. So here's a link, guys. I just put this in. And I want you guys to go take a look at this thing, and it is a link that will break down. You can go by, where you are. So at the top of the link on the right-hand side, it says select your year, select your region, and select your city, your new city. So you can customize it for your area, and it will then have a PDF breakdown you can get that does a breakdown of all the fix-ups and remodels and everything else that on average will give you a X return on your investment. So you can see where you can advise your clients to be getting the money off based off of hard numbers. So over in the Pacific West here, we know that front doors, garage doors, and installation, those are your three returns that will get you over 100% of your money back when you go to resell your home. A new front door, a new garage door, and more installation, which some of the other ones like 50%, 80%, 90%, whatever the numbers are, go enter your area, guys. I'm going to take this. I'm going to put this in our listing package. So every time I go out, we can talk about, if you guys think about doing something, well, here's the average time or the average money in, the average return off of this. Don't know if it's the best move for you. So you don't have to be the smartest person. Just use this guide.
Yeah, and I would ask them, so let's say you had that in your hip pocket, and even if you don't, like, I would ask them the question, like, which remodels, how many of those improvements and investments did you make with the specific intention that you were going to get 100% or more out of that investment? And I think that would spur most people to go, well, we had to put on the new roof. And then we also put like a hot tub in the backyard, and we did some repainting and some things like that. And I think it would force them to really think about why they did it, because there's two different types of investments. There's the investment purely to raise your resale value, is a strategic emotionalist decision. And then there's the lifestyle improvements, which is the money you put into the house to make it individual and comfortable and personalized. And that you cannot expect to get your return out of. You may get something back, but if you get anything back, it's a bonus. Painting your wall purple may be an enjoyable lifestyle for you, but it does not help sell the home. So what happens? Well, it's going to diminish the value, right? So you don't expect to get the value of the purple paint that you put on the wall back. What you actually expect is you have to go out and buy Kills and a new color paint to put on the wall, and you're not going to get any of that back, because all you did is get back to square one. So right. I think that's a good example to bring up, which is, did you make what are the improvements that you made that you specifically made, not for yourself to make the home more livable or personal, enjoyable? What investments did you make that were purely investment decisions to make the house more saleable?
Yeah,
and then that leads you down the path where you can also deal with things that, what things were improvements and not just maintenance, right? Well, we put on a new roof. Great. Again, back to square one. People expect that when they buy a home, the roof doesn't leak. That is not an improvement. That is a maintenance item, right? So then you have to separate that out.
The question's being asked from a point of view of, you go to a listing appointment, the house is dog shit. What are you going to need to do to get more money out of it? Well, here are the things you're going to get returns. I don't think it's going to be the creature comforts, of painting the wall purple. Or for me, I put a wood wall in my house. That may or may not get a return on the cool value, because I think it's pretty fucking cool. But maybe someone won't, someone else won't. All right.
Yeah.
But
you may have to rip it out by the time you sell. It may be out of style. Who knows?
You're going to be out of style. No way it's going to be out of style.
My God.
Crystal, what are you saying here? Matt challenged Greg to get 1,000 views when he can have his link. LOL. Am I missing something, Matt?
Challenge Greg to get 1,000 views. Oh, Crystal's, Matt. Challenge Greg to get 1,000 viewers, then he can have, I'm assuming she means 100,000, like 100, hundreds of thousands of downloads.
Oh.
But 1,000 viewers have to equal at least one buyer, Rob says.
All right.
The back and forth is funny.
Yes,
okay.
It is.
All right. So let me throw a scenario out to you, Greg. So I ran into a gal. So I'm here at KW's family reunion in Vegas. I ran into a gal at Starbucks in Mandalay Bay. We got to talking about her business. She has two main sources of business. She has referrals, and she has a local radio show. So obviously they're listing heavy. The radio helps with that. So she has a lot of people that come in because she's on the radio. They list their home. The listings generate the sign calls and the referrals. That is kind of the two engines of their business, right? Radio and referrals. Okay. So the next step for her is to start adding potentially another whole lead generation lever. Like, she wants to grow the business. She's kind of maxed out in terms of how she can generate referrals, and she's already on the radio. So she's already going, like, what would you say, like air and sea, right? Mm-hmm. Or something like that. So she's already hitting like two different channels. So I want to kind of riff a little bit and go into like what each of us would do if we're in that situation, and where we would look to start generating either new streams of business, or how do we grow a business that has those two things as the foundations of the stool.
I would do a couple. I would go hire Gene Velpe, the gentleman we had on our show before. He has a media company. I would go hire him to tear apart the radio show that she's already producing, and then reuse that micro content and reconstitute it out all over social media and generate buzz on social media, maybe even run ads off of some little sound bites that they get from the show that are tantalizing enough to come back and watch the show. Once they watch the radio or listen to the radio show, then that will help move the needle on the listing appointments. I think that would be probably one of the easiest and cheapest things to do. Gene blew my flipping mind when he showed me what he's going to be doing for me, because we hired him to do it as well. Dude, he baby scratched on the top of this of what he's going to do for me, and I'm like, what? You can do that? He's like, oh yeah, dude. In that one interview he and I did, he's going to like, dude, I'm going to take this and tear it apart, and I'm going to use this content for the next year. And I'm like, oh my God. So I think you should use consistently new information from the radio show, tear it apart, reconstitute all over social media, and then push the people back to to the homepage for to get more information about her and her team, and then two, back to the radio show to grow her ratings and grow her reach. That's
Okay.
what I would like to do, because then now you have air, sea, and ground attack.
Sure. Well, as usual, I disagree, and I know you're shocked. So try to take your job off the floor, Greg.
So weird.
I have a completely different strategy that I would recommend for her, or that I would do if I were in her situation, which is a completely different way to go on a ground attack. And I mean a true ground attack. So that would be to get much more strategic and intentional about how I market my existing listings to pick up more buyer and then ultimately seller leads off of each listing. What I mean by that is, depending on the area that she's in, I don't know, like she's in Tampa, so I would imagine it's relatively consistent. Your average price is probably hovering around 200 grand. It's not like a high end market or anything like that. So bread and butter stuff that works across the majority of the country should work there. Point being, you take each of those listings and I would implement like an open house system, and I would, even if I had to bring other agents either onto my team or partner with them if they were outside my team, but I would really run an open house system at a high level on the best of my listings, pair that up with either a core fact mailing or some other type of mailing to a radius of 100, 200, 300 homes around that listing, and really hammer away at the success, the just listed and the just solds in the target areas where I wanted to work, and then potentially even follow that up with a farming plan where I start to hit those areas over and over again and start getting a higher percentage of the listings that pop, because you've already got the radio covered. So you've already got probably a good brand recognition. Then it's just a matter of keeping that going, reinforcing it, and putting something concrete into people's hands so that so that there's something tangible when they say, okay, I'm ready to list my home. Who's that gal on the radio? And then they go, I don't remember who she is. Let's get a referral from somebody. You want something tangible in their hands that they can go, I hear that gal on the radio all the time. She sounds like she knows what she's doing. Let's list with her. I think I got a flyer from her that's sitting on the fridge. Right.
Well, that's still staying very, very old school in regards to how we go about it. I mean, we're saying the same thing, but we're using different vehicles to get there. We're going hyper local on stuff. I'm just using it on a digital format. The reason why I'm doing it on a digital format is because if we can get her, because communication, Matt, 7% of the words, 38% is going to be your tonality. So if she's having a blast on the radio, she's going to have just under 50%, like 45% of the communication is going to be done because people are going to like the tone of voice, they're going to like how she's saying things, they're going to like the interaction with the guest, or talking about what it is. It's going to open the people up to who she is, and it's going to be a lot less expensive than doing the postcards. Are the postcards effective? They can be, but they've got to be done the right way. And I think blanket postcards, dude, that's before the internet. That's before so many things that are available to us today. I mean, we're on a live video stream out to tens of thousands of people, at the end of the day, and it's costing us an absolutely zero budget, right? So, I mean, get on Facebook Lives, get on Periscopes, get on Instagram. Well, Instagram Lives kind of suck balls because they just go away. I'm just not pleased with that. Just not.
You're not building up any sort of asset.
No, you're not.
Like,
you're just
like Seth Price said. And we're going to have Seth Price back on the show on Wednesday. But that was a great point that he made about social media like Instagram and Snapchat, is that no matter how effective it is, just the nature of the fact that it disappears means that you're not building up any asset, which he's totally right about that. Now, the only exception to that I can see is when you're doing it with people that the asset is the relationship, not the content. And if you doing something is like a 1-to-1 message, or a 1 to 5 people, or 1 to 10 people, whatever the case is, if it's building the relationship, that's one thing. But if you are speaking to people that you don't know, you're not really building up an asset, and you're not really building anything that people can come back later and see that you have any knowledge or expertise, because everything just disappears. But to get back to the idea that this is all old school and it's more expensive, you're right to an extent, but you don't have the ability to micro-target yet on Facebook by at least not at the neighborhood level. Now, I'm sure that's coming, but not that hyper local around a specific listing where you can just hit the 100 closest homes and really get hyper local and say, hey, your neighbor around the corner just listed with us. we'd love to have a conversation. We'd love to invite you to the open house and stuff like that. So you can reinforce that. And I have no problem with doing, a lot of online stuff, but just doing primarily online stuff, it's not as finely targeted yet as you can get with postcards, picking up the phone and calling, circle prospecting and stuff like that,
Right, but you can zoom in, with a radius of a very low amount of mileage or fractions of a mile using Facebook, ads. So you can go hyper local. You can also put restraints in there in regards to all kinds of different criteria. I mean, the things radically changing and consistently changing on how hyper local you can get. But speaking of Facebook, dude, you guys have got to remember to go follow me on Facebook, because Matt and I don't just go live together all the time on Facebook on doing our show. He has his own show. I do a show on circle prospecting or something along those lines every single day around 4:30 p.m. So please go follow me. And I know it's a total side note, but I totally forgot to mention that earlier. Go follow me. And follow Stalkishly follow Matt.
Yes. So follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I am pursuing results on both platforms, and then Greg is McDanielCallahan.realestate on Instagram. Greg is even easier to find on Facebook. It's just his name.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Matt, one of those things that we were talking about before on how to brand yourself and kind of really get out there, and if you're going to be out doing the door knocking, if you just want to be out and about and doing things. So my girl Stevie Knuckles girl, she's on watching us. She made a deal, and I'm going to post her link in here later today if you guys want to go buy some stuff from All Things Real Estate. I bought a shirt that says want to sell a home. Thinking about selling your home, whatever their terminology is. I bought it for like $15 and they're shipping it to me. And I'm going to start wearing this thing all over the place, especially to the gym. And I want to see how many conversations this thing starts up. I'm almost going to buy a hat that says Real Estate Life, and rock that thing. I'm just really curious to see how it's going to improve the conversations that I have, and see if I can get business from going down and getting my car washed, sitting there listening to a podcast, and someone goes, "Hey, you do real estate?" But she actually gets a discount too. So we'll have to get that up there. But it's all about branding and not being a secret agent is my ultimate point about this stuff. I think too many times people are sitting there quietly in their being a hobbit and hiding away from the world and not exposing themselves, not in a weird way, in a good way, out to their marketplaces.
I am not even going to touch any of that.
Well, good. That's
not going to touch it.
Oh my God. Okay. What's next on our agenda, Mimigo?
All right. Interesting question. Matthew Warba says, do you hold an open house when it's snowing outside? And what have your experiences been? I don't know where's he at? New York City. So dude, if you're on the East Coast, absolutely. Unless it's a freaking hurricane, or unless it's a literal ice storm, people get out and they look at homes and it's snowing, and they go to work, they do all that stuff. If you're in an area where people are used to snow, absolutely hold an open house when it's snowing. People will still be out there. You'd be surprised.
Dude, Shaniqua just told me she wears a shirt when she goes out and says, "I don't sell homes, I change lives." Definitely a combo starter. Awesome. I change lives. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But see, that's the kind of fun stuff you guys can go do with this. Go make your own shirts, hats, sweatshirts, whatever you want. Speaking of that, if you guys want to support the show, Matt, do you know what we have not been telling our audience?
That we have a fan shop where they can buy merch with the Real Estate Uncensored logo on.
Yes, we have been horrible.
Which has been in existence for months and months and months.
Yeah, so guys, here I'm putting the link into it right now. Link. You guys buy our stuff. Oh yeah, we're not going to tell anybody that it's there. Dumbasses.
I know, we're bad at that. All right, so good question here from William Harris. He says, hey, has anyone transitioned from a full-time job to a full-time real estate agent? And if so, what was your plan when you made the leap? For example, did you save up a certain amount to cover, the sale time to close deals? This is my goal this year, and after the market crash, I did what was necessary to maintain my household, but now I feel that I'm ready to put both feet in, but just a little cautious due to knowing how the market can be when the deals don't close. So how should I prepare for this move so I'm confident and comfortable to get at it? What do you say to that, Greg?
Have 6 months in reserves minimum for cash, and then have to put yourself on the real estate treadmill from hell. I mean, you're going to have to work at this so hard and so furiously, because the first couple of months are going to be really, really, really difficult. Most likely, I mean, you will find some deals that will just fall off the tree, and you'll catch them and you'll be able to put them into business. But overall, your true return on your time is going to take several months. Like if I was to take this glass and I was to continually pour water into it, when I first started pouring water into it, would be the equivalent of starting off full time with no support at all. But if I kept pouring water into this, eventually the water will start overflowing, and that's where your overflow residuals, for referrals and just business and leads that you're nurturing, that's when your business will really start to take off. But you got to be willing to go into it and have a phenomenal support system around you. Have either a spouse or someone that you're close with. Be a confidant. I mean, don't use them as a sounding board. Don't use them as like a coaching, someone's like, hey, did you make your calls or anything like that? Don't use them for that. But you have someone safe that you can go talk to if you have a shitty day, because you're going to have some shitty days. And then just nonstop, crush it and move forward towards your goals. That would be my suggestion. But be clear about it.
Yeah, there's one of the comments on this. Jesus Pintado had a couple of really great points. He said he just transitioned into full-time last August. The biggest challenge I face is following a regular schedule. Treat it like a business and put in the amount of hours you would typically work at a 9 to 5. Man, that is 100% the truth. Now, if you're just getting started, obviously, Greg, if you can work 9 to 9, I mean, the more prospecting, the better. But yeah, if you there's a lot of people that get into to real estate for the freedom, not realizing that the flip side of freedom is not having a lot of money, because freedom doesn't get the clients. Freedom doesn't bring in deals. Having a solid selling system brings in clients, which brings in closed commission. So at the very least, working at committing to it and working a 9 to 5. Now 9 to me sounds late. That's a West Coast. That's a West Coast agent getting into the office. Rolling around 9 a.m. Or guys in San Diego, the best agents are calling expired listings at 7:45 in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like Aaron does, and Aaron's on the show. What up, Aaron? If you're still here, buddy. He gets in there at 7 o'clock and he just crushes through them. I would be very pissed if I got a call, but you know what? If I have a want or a need as a home seller that my home's not selling, and I didn't know that it wasn't on the market. Well, you know what? I might be grumpy, but I'll be happy to know that. That way I can either build a relationship with this other agent that called me at butt crack early when God's still taking voice messages, but you can also really build your business strongly from that point. And I think that a lot of people are like, well, I don't know how to get them, or I don't have money to buy FSBOs. Dude, go on to Zillow and click the fucking for sale by owner button. You just got FSBOs to call.
Yeah, we'll elaborate a little bit more on that in our Get Business Now training, I think. But yeah. Go to Zillow, click for sale by owner. Congratulations, you have leads.
You're the smartest man in the world. Now get the fucking work. That's about it. But it is purely consistent. I mean, Matt and I are both very good at booking our time blocking our time. It is essential for a business to grow that way. Okay, you cannot grow a business if you do not have it blocked out, because you will overbook yourself. You will step on your own toes. You will look silly in front of your client because he doesn't look professional. Be like, oh, I was totally wanted to show you that, but I already have something else planned, or you yanked around shiny object syndrome all over the place. Listing, buyer. Buyer. This buyer sucks. Listing appointment. Dude, you gotta book it out. I mean, there are things in my calendar that I will not move and do not move. One of them is the podcast. The other is my 4:30 show, when I do a lot of on-site calling. Like I did the 168 phone calls today. Dude, got my ass handed to me. Literally got my ass handed to me. But I'm gonna go back out and do it again because it's blocked into my calendar and it's just set. Sit down. Right. Well, not right now. Watch the show. Okay, let's not be silly.
Yeah, we got a few minutes left. Yeah. Sit down after the show. Between now and when Greg goes live at 4:30, that's when you sit down.
That means you have 30 minutes. And go! But I want you guys to block it out and have fun with it. Put different colors to it on Google Calendars. Like I do, money-making activities are in green. Things are in movable are in red. Block it out and then just stay true to it. That's what you need to do to make it in this business if you just had to make it happen now. Matt, I know you disagree with me, so how much do you disagree?
Well, with time blocking, I could not. There is not a subject in the world, Greg, except for even our taste in women, vastly different. But there is one thing on which we will eternally agree. Yes, and that is a good thing. That there is one thing where we will never disagree on, and that is the adherence to our schedule. We are both pretty strict, pretty disciplined when it comes to our schedule. That is one thing that I've always admired about you, as scatterbrained and shiny object syndrome prone as you are. You always show up on time, prepared for the podcast, even if you're coming in hot with your hair on fire because something went wrong at the office and you have to jet home to host the show from your home computer. That's the worst of what's ever happened in terms of getting you on the show. You guys, you have no idea. So when I was at Viral and we had established strategy calls to help them grow their business and give them marketing suggestions and ideas on how they can do more deals, which is what they supposedly signed up for. You'd be amazed. I would come into the office. I would have either back-to-back calls all day set up, or let's say I had 8 calls set up. I could count on the fact that at least 3 of those 8 calls would be unanswered. They would flake out. Now those are the agents that can afford a $550 a month marketing service. What do you think is going on with the other agents who can't afford that? You'd be amazed at how bad agents are at sticking to their appointments and just flaking out on stuff they commit to, and that is a business killer. If there's anything that I could probably hang my reputation on, like in the real estate community and just in the business community in general. And Greg, you joke around about it, but with other people, which is that I'm freaking on the ball. When we're on a call together, you never have to worry about whether something is going into our calendar, because literally at the time that it's being talked about, I'm sending the calendar appointment, and that I stick with it. It's like you're going, you're like, Greg's like, don't even worry about it. Matt's already typing it up. And then it's like, and there it is in the inbox.
And accept, and yes, I'll be there.
Yes. And when I make it, and so I might do a whole training about this, but there's just little things that I've always done, even back when I was at Viral, that always seemed to impress people. And so I just ran with it. One of those things was calling on the dot. Mm-hmm. So like when we have an established call set up together, I only do scheduled outbound calls, and I call like right on the dot. Like I have the number punched in and I'm hitting the button usually when it goes from 10:59 to 11 a.m. or something like that. Now, if I'm back to back calls all morning, I may be a minute behind or something like that, or I may be scrambling to find the phone number because I mispunched it in, or I'm looking at the calendar and I forgot to put it in or something like that. But for the most part, I'm always calling like just on the dot. And man, you'd be surprised just how impressed high-level business people are by little things like that. And it's such a simple thing,
Oh, yeah. No, I do the same thing for the McDaniel Challenge. I mean, at 5:59, I'm like, okay, I got my number, got my calendar pulled up. 6 o'clock, bloop, call. Because it shows respect, and it also shows consistency to yourself. But I'm going to digress here really quickly. Lily Chen is on the phone. She's on the phone with us. She's on the video with us, and she's over in the peninsula, dude. She hit me up on a message the other day, and I'm like, Lily, what's up? And she's typing away, and all of a sudden, there's this picture of me on a screen. I'm like, what the hell is that? She's like, oh, we're talking about video, and they're showcasing you. I'm like, well, what are they saying about me? She's like, how not to be this guy? I'm like, what? She's like, no, I'm kidding. They're just talking about how important video was. I'm like, don't do that. Jeez.
How not to be this asshole.
Yeah, I'm not this douchebag. Offending everybody. But yeah,
that's right.
No, man. But that was a lot of fun. So, Lily, what's up? Welcome to the show. Glad you're here. Shit, as I drop my pen. Damn it. Why do I always drop my pen?
I don't know. And why does it matter? You're not writing anything down while we're on the show anyway. What's funny is that you actually bent down to pick up your pen that you don't need.
Yeah. Bullshit, dude. I take notes. Some of us is always a student of our industry.
Yeah, I'm glad. All right, so Philip Swanson has a great question. We'll close with this. He says, hey, group, here's the situation. My marketing budget is somewhat limited at the moment. So would my money be better spent on mailers to expireds and FSBOs, or would a dialer system like Mojo be more cost effective? And which do you find generates more leads per dollar?
Well, it's going to be the dialer, in my personal opinion. I think the mailers are good, but they have to be trackable. So the only company I know that the mailers are trackable is with Corfact. They're here on the peninsula. I think they're on the they moved over there. But that's the only one because they have a tracking code for that home. So every time that person logs in and gets the information about the value or a monthly update or whatever it is, you can see what's going on. So you can reach out to them and have a conversation with them. If you can't track it, guys, you can't quantify it. If you can't quantify it, you're not going to make any money off of it. And so the dialer is going to matter how much time you're going to sit your ass in that chair and you're going to dial it out. Midori over here, dude, she crushes it like a rock star. She gets in at 9. At 9:20, she has her list pulled. By 9:30, her ass is on the line, getting kicked in the face by the sellers until she can't take it anymore, takes a break, comes back, reloads, and goes after it again. That girl is going to make a shit ton of fucking money. The reason why is because she's a hustler. She isn't willing to give it up and stop. She's gonna make it happen. And
I think there's a very helpful distinction that will hopefully help a lot of people, which is this. Mailers and postcards and things like that are a form of content marketing. It's just an alternative way of delivering some piece of information or content and getting it into someone's hands. Well, what is the purpose of content marketing? Most agents will look at a postcard or something like that and go, how can I make something that will make somebody pick up the phone and call me so I don't have to call them? You've already asked the wrong question. Mm-hmm. It's that we do not live in that world anymore, and you are not a good enough copywriter to write something that will get somebody to pick up the phone and call you. They do not want to call you. They do not want to talk to you. If they wanted to talk to a real estate agent, they would go and just get a referral from someone they know, and they would pick up the phone and they'd call an agent, and you wouldn't even know they're on the radar. Mm-hmm. So the purpose of a piece of content, whether it's something that they see on Facebook or whether it's something that you put in their mailbox, hand deliver, or have like a carrier pigeon drop it like a missile onto their house. The purpose of content is to make the personal contact easier, right? So like I was talking about this with Frank from Viral the other day. He said something to the effect of the purpose of content is you don't reach out to anybody until they know you're somebody. Right. So the purpose of something like Greg, all of your videos that you do, the Facebook Lives that you do about the open houses and the door knocking and the mailers and all this stuff, what does that do? It gives you the ability when you get on the phone with somebody or when you show up at their door, they go, oh, it's that guy. Yeah, I know that guy. I see him everywhere. I know who you are. They may not even connect it. They just know you're somebody, right? They just know, and even if they don't know right away, they very quickly find out once you get into the meat of the conversation. They realize, oh, this is somebody. That's the other thing that content can do for you, even if it doesn't lay the groundwork first. Once you get into a conversation with somebody and you drop some of those things, like, hey, I train other agents on how to do X, Y, and Z. Even if you just drop that casually in conversation. It's one of those indicators where it shows the person that you're speaking with that you are somebody. You are not just random agent, and it positions you differently. So the whole idea of I see these questions all the time come up in the lead gen group and a bunch of other Facebook groups. Prospect said to me X. What can I say to make them call me? Nothing. The answer is nothing. The answer is that does not probably exist for you. So stop thinking like that and think in terms of how can I send them something that will just give me permission to reach out to them and get them on the phone, or how can I stop by, or how can I create a situation where I can reach out to them and start a conversation with them, because that's what needs to happen. We agents spend way too much time trying to think about how they can get their prospects to reach out to them when 90% of the time it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I had this thing, I think it was about a year ago right now. I still want to be on a radio or TV show on a consistent basis, or guest on multiple different TV shows, bringing content. Right. And I'm like, how can I reach out to all these producers and have them want me to be on their show? And I was reaching out. Nobody was getting really back to me, and I was all butthurt about it for a while. Then I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. I shouldn't be going after them. I should be going after achieving something where they come to me because they see the value in me, and they'll beg me to be on their show. And the exact same thing for listing appointments and working with buyers. You've got to be so attractive to them because they feel knowledgeable, that they feel that you have the knowledge to help them through the transition. And I put a thing in here for you guys, those of you who have not heard it before. realtytimes.com is a link I put in here. Great articles, about 1 to 1.5 pages, maybe 2 pages long. Read it, regurgitate it back out on a video if you guys want to. Put the link in there so that people can go read the link if they want to read the original article. But it's a great way for two things. One, you're going to get knowledge about the marketplace or that aspect or whatever the article is about. 2, you present yourself as an expert in the real estate realm because you're going to be talking about something that's going to be affecting them, because people don't like you until they know that you care about them. And that's a really important thing to really understand. Also, a lot of times real estate agents as a whole, guys, we get freaked out. I mean, there's shit that it's a stressful ass business. So there's an app in here that Midori just told me about called Calm. It's an app and it's a website, and they have guided meditations. Just go check it out. It's very cool, very way to kind of balance out this crazy ass life of ours. They have a free version and then a paid version. So I'm going to jump into it. I try to do meditation every day. And Matt, I was telling you, man, I was doing that meridian tapping with the guy Brad Yates on YouTube, and I'll put a link for Brad's page. I did it on being a money magnet, finding new clients, and having an incredible day. Dude, every day last week was absolutely epic. Shit would just happen that I had absolutely no control over. And I'm like, oh my God, that is amazing. How did this come about? So I kept doing it. And it worked so well, I didn't do it this morning. Gosh damn it.
Of course. All right. And I have a client that told me about something here that I can give out to everybody. It's called Vital Tones. If you go to the App Store, they have a series of different ones. I downloaded a few, and I'm going to start trying them out. This is Jay Campbell I'm talking about, who's he's not only an agent in LA, but he's also the Amazon best-selling author of the best-selling book ever written on testosterone replacement therapy. Wow. And he says there's quite a few to check out, but a couple of them would be the deep sleep. So this is Vital Tones. It's the deep sleep. There are free and paid versions. So it's definitely something interesting to check out. I think there's one kind of similar to Calm, where it's just for like guided meditation. Jay said he's been starting his day off with that. It's like a 20-minute guided meditation, but they're tones that activate different centers of the brain, right? Yep. So it might be, I don't know if it's the same thing or not, but definitely something for people to check out. I'm going to experiment with the deep sleep version because let's see. I don't think I told you about this, Greg. So I'm in the hotel in Vegas, right? And I can see the lugs are over there. So we're right off the strip, okay? And it's a nice, this is a really nice hotel. It's not like a seedy place. But anyway, I was woken up at 2:30, 3:30, and 5 a.m.
I can imagine.
You guessed it. Oh yes.
Bang bang bang.
Amorous activity and hilariously short.
The duration, not the guy, right?
I couldn't. There was no visual confirmation, but yes, just the noise confirmed that it was extremely short and potentially small. So anyway, to anyone that's above me on the 3rd floor of this particular hotel, thank you for waking me up repeatedly last night, and now I'm going to have to try the Vital Tones sleeping app to get myself to sleep.
Oh my God, that is awesome. Wow, now that my cheeks hurt. Oh my God.
All right, guys, make sure to let's follow us all on Facebook. Yes. First of all, Greg is on Facebook. You cannot friend him. You may follow him. You are not allowed. Do not friend request him. He has many requests waiting. You will not get answered. And also follow him on Instagram. He is McDanielCallahan.realestate. I am much easier to find and friend because I don't have as many friends on Facebook, so you can still friend me. I am pursuing results on both Facebook and Instagram. We're not really messing around with Snapchat too much right now. We're dinking around a little bit more with Instagram. If anybody caught the Louis Lavella episode on Friday, he confirmed what we had suspected. He is managing accounts for big music industry people, including festivals, and is seeing 30 to 50% higher engagement rates since Instagram came out with stories. A lot of people kind of have both accounts, Instagram and Snapchat, and so they figured, hey, Instagram now has disappearing stuff too, so why don't we just stick on Instagram? So if you're going to put your money and energy or time or whatever anywhere between those two platforms, put them on Instagram. So that's kind of what we're doing. Me and Greg are focused more on building that part of things up. And then Rockstar Prospecting is officially closed for registrations right now. We had our first class today. We had a run of 10 students in the class with us. Darren is watching or was watching earlier with us. He's one of them. So shout out to you. So like I said, guys, that is closed for now. We are working on a different course potentially to come out in March called Get Business Now or Get Clients Now. We're not quite sure what we're going to call it. But guys, if anybody is interested in that, just let us know in the comments or whatever the case is. And because we're in the lab working on the next type of live training class. So we don't have that available to sign up for quite yet until we get the curriculum nailed down. Mm-hmm. So that's where we're at on that stuff.
And then we also have some incredibly good, you want to tell them about the one-off videos that we're going to be doing? We're going to be collaborating with other individuals?
No, I think that's enough. That's a good teaser.
No, we're not going to tell you. I'm going to start.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have gone over an hour again. Guys, we love you to pieces. That's why Matt and I show up 3 days a week for this. Thank you for all those who have tagged us on the fact that we are in the top 20 podcasts for real estate.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Really, really appreciate it.
That was a really nice write-up, by the way, too. It wasn't just hey, you should check this out. They actually did a really nice job of actually listening to the show and pointing out a couple things that they liked about the show in that write-up. So that was pretty cool.
So you guys, keep telling friends and family about what we're doing here. We have put zero money behind this thing. It's all word of mouth. It's all because of you guys. Yeah. So thank you from the bottom of our heart. We have a bunch of links in there. If you want to rock the Real Estate Uncensored merch, you have the link for it now. And no or nay, I know you were looking for the underwear section, and no, we do not have that, you weirdo. So now her face went bright red. It's like, anyways, we're out of here, guys. We love you. We will see you Wednesday. Bye.
Later, guys.